2017 has had a lot of ups and downs. This year, we've seen one of the most powerful and destructive hurricane seasons in recorded history. This has thus brought the question forward. Did climate change cause this? We have no real way of answering that question regardless of what you see on the news media. There just isn't enough data on hand to tell us the force of hurricanes throughout history. How powerful was a hurricane in 78 BC? There is no answer. The real questions to be asking are, is climate change real? And if so, is it man-made or natural? Today we're going to look at all three arguments. Those who believe climate change is nothing but propaganda and a fake narrative pushed for, well, that group gets really interesting. The second argument is the argument that climate change is man-made and we must act as soon as we possibly can. And finally, those who see the changes throughout the world in historical data, but believe that climate change is a natural cycle and happens and has happened many times in the past. So join us as we dive deep on the three arguments of climate change. The first argument of climate change is that of most far right-wing Republican and hardcore conservatives. They outright deny the fact that climate change is real. The statement made is that temperature and climate is not changing in any way, shape, or form. In fact, they kinda do have some scientific data that makes this claim valid. The most prominent data was featured in a Wall Street Journal article released on January 2012. Link in the description for the source. The claim is that 16 scientists came to the conclusion that not only has the warming of the planet stopped, but we're about to go into a period of cooling. Scientists backing this claim say that global warming stopped around 1997, backed with data from 30,000 collection points across the planet. While what is really surprising is when this article came out, over 31,000 scientists signed a petition in support of the statement that climate change is not real. There's a link in the description of said petition, and when we looked into it a little bit further, we found that all it is really needed to sign the petition is to download a PDF file, sign the petition, and mail it in. So the validity of those signatures comes into question if they're just accepting any signature without credentials and background. Not only do they outright deny global warming, they also state that the release of carbon to the atmosphere is having no detrimental effects on the planet and climate. The claim is that the whole push for global warming was a political movement to find new tax revenues to line the pockets of big government. Also, a good portion of climate change deniers are under the belief that it is nothing but a conspiracy to give the government more control over the lives of the governed. How much truth there is to this claim? Well, if that were actually the case, I doubt the perpetrators will verify that. While looking into those that deny climate change, it was hard to find any real evidence or data backing those claims, because there's so much evidence to the contrary pointing to the fact that the world around us is changing, which leads us to our second argument of climate change. The claim is that humanity is on a path of destruction, and if not altered, we are not only a threat to the world around us, but humanity itself. If we continue down this path, we will do irrevocable damage to the ecosystem and the climate of this planet that will lead to the eradication of life as we know it. To say the claim that humanity is having a negative impact on the world is false would be severely misguided. Before regulations were implemented, factories, mines, power plants, and other large industries were burning and dumping hazardous materials with no second thought to the impact that it would have on the area around it. In fact, in Beijing, the smog is so horrendous, canned air has become a popular item for sale. There is a lot of data backing the claim that humanity is the direct cause of climate change. There are thousands of scientific journals to the effects that we're having on just the climate, let alone the ecosystems across the planet. According to a NASA website dedicated to climate change, since 1880, the global temperature has risen 1.7 degrees. We lose 286 gigatons of glacial ice per year due to melting, and sea levels rise 3.4 millimeters per year. While the raises in temperature and sea levels seem like very minuscule numbers, according to scientists that if we do not alter the course that humanity is set on, we will see many detrimental effects. There will be an increase of droughts causing massive damage to cash crops that feed the world. With the raise of water level, coral reefs will not get the needed sunlight and die out. Weather patterns across the world will shift and hurricanes will become more powerful due to rising sea temperatures. While all of this sounds like doom and gloom, there is a sliver of hope according to the backers of this claim. Humanity must sever its dependence on fossil fuels and carbon-burning fuels, going the route of green energy. While not sustainable yet, it is predicted in 50 years there will be a massive catch-up in green technologies that just might be the saving grace for humanity. The science has mainstream backing, but the biggest downfall to this claim is the financial effect that it will have on the world. The switch to green energy will not only be expensive due to the need of new technology and infrastructure, but it'll be the proverbial knife in the heart of the energy sector. Millions of jobs across the planet will be lost, and the majority of global economies are fully supported by the oil industry, and it is the lifeblood of people who work in it. Unless it is known for a fact that humanity is the sole reason for climate change, can we condemn those that rely on the industry's claim to be killing the planet? It is a very hard question to answer or even fathom. If this transition is to happen, it will be a painful one to say the least. But can you put a human price on the fate of the planet? The third and final argument is that climate change is real, but humans are not directly causing it. The claim is that climate change is a real thing but cyclical in nature. The science backing this claim states that throughout the history of the planet Earth, it has seen warm, cold, and even mild climate changes. How did they come to this conclusion? Well, there's been an ongoing study of ice cores. Ice cores are pieces of ice brought up by drilling rigs in the Arctic areas that give humanity a small glimpse back in time. The ice cores can reveal atmospheric makeup, temperature, and how active volcanoes were at the time the ice was formed. It can give us the general temperature and climate as well. Corroborated with core samples from layers of sediment, many say this points to periods of cooling and heating. More recent studies show that we are in fact coming out of an ice age, what could be the reason for the rapid heating of the planet we're currently seeing right now. While some argue that this is the most rapid heating period that this planet has ever seen, on the other hand, this is the only time that humanity has been able to accurately record temperatures in real time. While core samples do offer a look back into the past, it cannot show changes in climate as accurate as modern-day weather monitoring systems. Also, it is argued that the raising temperature might not be as bad as it's thought out to be. The warmer the planet gets, there will be droughts and detrimental effects, but there would also be positive effects as well. Some historians, archaeologists, and scientists refer to the Jurassic period. Due to the volcanic activity at the time, there was 5 times the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. Also, there were no ice caps, and global temperature was significantly warmer. The climate was seen to be mostly tropical and rainforest-esque. The higher temperature allowed for cold-blooded animals to be the dominant species due to the higher global temperatures. Why is this an important point to be brought up by scientists? Because it is proof that this planet has seen higher average temperatures across the globe, and not only did life not die out, it flourished, with the largest size species we have ever been able to record in history. If the planet is to keep on this trend of warming, it is not going to be the end of the world with irreversible damage done. The main point of the argument is that the planet is warming indeed, but it is a cycle that this planet has seen thousands of times before. That humanity is not the cause of the changes that have been recorded, but is nature itself. There's a lot of data to back this claim, and so much of it conflicts with those that claim humanity is the cause of climate change, lines seem to blur and the argument just breaks down into a schoolyard brawl. Those are the 3 arguments of climate change. There is so much to be said on this topic, and if it was more in depth than this, well, the video would be well over an hour long. So it'll just be summed up like this. To those who completely deny climate change, they must deny fact and science. Almost every article or journal found seems to be full of misinformation and blatant lies. To deny the fact that the world around us is changing is just utterly moronic. History shows that climate is changing. Is it a direct result of humanity? Does that question even matter? Human caused or not, we have to respect the planet around us. While personally I believe that climate change is a naturally occurring force with a little bit of dose of help from humanity, what pain does it cause by going green and taking the steps to minimize our effect on this planet? Yes, it will be financially hard, but we have overcome more obstacles in the past as humanity. As it stands, humanity is a pest on this planet. We hurt the ecosystem around us with industry and pollution. Regardless if we are the cause of climate change or not, we need to respect this planet and take care of it. It's our home right now, and it's a pigsty. But what do you guys think, and where do you stand on this topic? Do you think climate change is a hoax brought up by the government to steal your rights in the middle of the night? Human-made or naturally occurring? Let us know in the comments below, and if you like the video, slap a like on it. We're back. We're uploading every Tuesday and Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that little bell button to be notified on our next upload, and we'll see you then.